Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's time for some Power Rankings edition for end of Sunday. April's in the books, May 2nd's in the books, and we do Power Rankings at the end of every Sunday game just to get an update of where things are at. And hopefully it goes all right. Obviously, it's very hard to decide 1 through 30 exactly where everyone's going to be. There's going to be a lot of controversy, so let me know what you guys think, where I screwed up, where you are in agreement. Where do you think maybe rank someone high, but that they're definitely justified. But before we go into that, please go down there, like, subscribe. This channel, we do game reviews every day. We're following the season super close, hoping to start ripping out some other videos about like home runs and all that stuff. So let's do that. But before, let's just jump into it. Number 30 for third week in a row, possibly. We got the Detroit Tigers. Honestly, there's not a lot to say. They don't have a lot going for them. Worst record in MLB. I think they're on like 7-8 game losing streak, something like that. Not much else to say. If you need a get right spot, that's it. Number 29, we got the Rockies. And Trevor Story just dealing with an injury now, possibly missing a few games here. It's going to be a long season for these Rockies. They're probably going to see a lot of action on Trevor Story, possibly being traded. Don't expect them to do much of anything this season considering the division they're in. They're pretty much out of it already with that losing record of theirs. Number 28, we got the Baltimore Orioles. Unlike these other two, they at least compete on a daily night. One thing going against them, their division, super stacked near the top. Pretty much next to impossible for them to squeeze their way in, but of course, it's possible. I just don't see it. Their pitching's been better than expected. Matt Harvey's been good. But yeah, number 27, got the Pittsburgh Pirates, kind of back, slowly falling their way back to where reality was. They had a little bit of a run there for a little bit, but this past week was a little bit of a losing week for them. They hit 500. That's probably the apex of their peak, and now they're dropping back down, and it's the Pirates. Number 26, I got the Rangers. I know they've played well. They could possibly be a little bit spots higher, but with my power rankings, I try to portray the future of where they're going to be, where I see them based on what I'm watching. And I still see the Rangers being dead last in their division, possibly bottom of the conference. But yeah, they do have the long ball, but it's not going to win them all the games, and I think that's justified where they are. Number 25, I got the Miami Marlins. It's another one of those teams. They're competing every day. Their offense just isn't getting them to knock them up. They're slowly falling down. They're pretty much clear spot to be the last in this division. However, we're going to get to it in a minute. This division's up for grabs like crazy. Number 24. Moving up a row, we got the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they're above 500 by 2 games right now. Whether they can keep that up, I'm not sold. They're probably pretty much in the same story as these guys. But good start so far, and by far put up a lot of runs. Their offense has been great, so there's that. Number 23, I think the same spot as last week. We had the Chicago Cubs. They had a chance. They were starting to look like, all right, they're going to do it. Then they lose this series to Cincinnati, which is a team they're really competing for potentially that wild card spot. They need to win this. Their offense was amazing, but also their pitching was brutal. And their offense was poor, and their pitching was good. Like, so inconsistent, so hard to get a read on this team. Chris Bryant's definitely looking at his value, could potentially be very big at the trade deadline, should that be an option going forward. Number 22, and they just continue to fall each week. I got the Angels. They're like the Cubs of the West Coast or the American League, whatever you want to say. They have the talent. They're just not clicking what they need. Trout is potentially having his best season ever right now, and they can't get the wins. They need something to turn around. Right now, if things keep going the way they're going, they're definitely bottom of the league, which is so unfortunate because they have such the all-star power and the draw for the attendance for people to watch. Number 21, it's the Mariners. I have them as a slight edge over the Angels now, and a lot of it has to do with that series they just played. The Mariners won, so I have to at least think at this point they're doing a little bit better. But they're both basically the same. Both, in my eyes, missing playoffs at this rate, etc., etc. Number 20, slowly creeping back into it. We got the Washington Nationals. They're still missing Juan Soto. They've been picking up wins without him. Trey Turner had a great series against Toronto, even though it's 2 games set. Very showing what he's capable of. They got a couple of ace pitchers like Scherzer who can carry them to wins. It's the consistency, and I do think they have a shot at this division because this division is wide open. So they're a little bit ahead of these other teams because of that extra potential as well. Number 19, the Cincinnati Reds. So they peaked up in this area, back down to earth a little bit. I don't really see them moving lower than this. If anything, they're going to move up as they pick up more streaks again or that, unless the bottom just completely falls out on this team, because their offense is something very consistent and good. They do have pitchers that show up from time to time. I think that for this team, a lot of it is going to rely. Can Luis Castillo turn the page and become that ace that they need? They need a third, a fourth guy that just closes the door, and so far he hasn't been that, and their depth in pitching has really been their downfall. Number 18, the Philadelphia Phillies. Another team that was up, I had a lot of high hopes for, and the bottom has fallen out for the most part. Again, lucky for them, this division isn't super strong, and that it all tapped off with Sunday night last night. The Phillies just fell apart. They lost that one. Bullpen's back to being potentially a big issue for this team. Their offense always there, but the pitching has been very questionable. At least that's a consistent thing in this division, and that brings us to the next team, Atlanta Braves. So these two are like competing. One of these teams is going to have a chance, and the other team's going to be like out of it. Hopefully someone steps up, because both of them have basically the same build. Solid offenses, great star players, and the pitching has just let them down all season long. Which team will get it fixed? I give Atlanta a little bit of the edge because they have Soroka coming back eventually. They do have some injuries coming back, whereas Phillies, not so much. They don't have that boost coming their way. Number 16, they got the Twins. Finally, they pick up a division series win. Right in the middle now. The Twins lost the highest percentage of the entire MLB in terms of playoff chances to make the playoffs. I think they lost something like 30%. They were a huge favorite in their division, and now they're not at all. Very on pace to come third. So, Twins need to go on a streak at least here for a little while. They're capable, so they're definitely capable, but right now we haven't seen it, and that's why I want to put them right in the middle there. And it's going to be with Kansas City. So this is the team they just beat. Kansas City was pretty hot, so they're kind of like opposite. Like, Kansas City was really hot, now they're slowing down. Twins were super cold, and now maybe they're picking up. We're right at the beginning, whether we know or not. So could be a loop, or they're going to go back to separating. So it's going to be interesting to watch this matchup. Power rankings, right dead center of the league as well. So I got number 14, I got the New York Mets. That completes the American League East, I believe, as a whole. So we're halfway through, and we got the whole division up there. So that, for me, that's interesting. So that's why I talk about Washington. They're here, but they have a chance because this is the lead. And really, right now, I'm giving the Mets the lead because these two don't have pitching. They at least have pitching. Pitching's going to trump it all at the end of the day, and that's why I'm giving them the edge. But right now, their offense has not clicked, and their pitching hasn't been amazing. So they're just like iffing along, and now that we've seen more games of them, they had a slow start because of the COVID. We're starting to get an idea of, maybe they're not as good as I thought. Number 13, I got the Yankees. They had a good week. They bottomed out. I think I had them 17, somewhere like that, but they bottomed out. They had a good week. They picked up wins. They swept the Tigers. There are Kluber's coming around. Herman had a good start. Overall, they're better. They're performing better. And if they can keep that up, they're definitely going to be back in the top rows for sure. This division's super exciting. Number 12, the Giants. Some people might say, I'm not giving them enough respect still. Hear me out. The Giants have not had the hardest of schedules leading up to them now. They just had their first series against the Padres, where they lost 2-1. They did a very nice bounce back win, so I'm giving them some credit for that bounce back win. Had they been swept, I don't know if I'd have them this high. But their pitching through and through has been consistent. It's won them lots of games, and I'm a big fan of when a team has lots of pitching, they're gonna do well. However, I still think the chances of them making the playoffs are a lot less than anyone ahead of them, and that's strictly because of their division. Those two teams I still think are concrete locks for the top two in that division, which means there's one wild card spot up for grabs in the National League, and potentially they're in the lead for that right now. I don't know if that will stay. Next up, 11, I got the Tampa Bay Rays. They've been solid. Overall, their pitching's been very solid, and their offense gets it done, and they win all those close games. If they get to the bullpen with a lead, they win. That's a big sign. It's a sure thing that the Yankees try to do, and that's how the Yankees have been solid for so many years. They do that. Very tight. It's going to be a very tight race, this American League East. Number 10, got the Blue Jays, and they're popping off. Their offense is... Vladdy Guerrero has been amazing. George Springer, he came back, although he left the game last night. We don't know what's up with that, but he came back. He's hit 2 home runs in one game, and when Springer's in that lineup is potentially deadly. Pitching is a big question mark for the Jays, but they have injuries, and if those injuries come back, I believe them to be very strong, top 10 team, competing for the division lead. All these teams, really. That's not right. All right, next up I got Oakland A's, and this is kind of interesting because these two teams are actually playing starting today. We'll see how that goes. The A's just kind of been slowly going along ever since that win streak, getting it done. But yeah, I don't have a lot to say the A's. I don't watch as much as I of any other team. Number 8, I got the Indians, and I just think the Indians, they put up a good performance against the White Sox. Still not sold completely that they're serious, but I have to give them credit because they show that they're serious. It's like a heart versus brain kind of situation. Their pitching had a couple of rough outings. McKenzie's been kind of rough. Plesac at least bounced back from what's been rough in his last start. And their offense is starting to hit, so I got to give them a little credit for where I was being their critic before. They've turned it on. Number 7. Gotta keep doing this. I got Boston Red Sox, top of the American League East. So overall, I think it's just going to be a scrap. These 4 teams, any of them can take it at this point, I think. Anyone. Boston had that hot streak, a little bit back down to earth, losing to the Rangers down here. So that's a little bit of concern, but I'm going to keep them up there for at least one more week. Give them a chance to show that, okay, hot start, they had a lot of games, all that stuff. Time to just kind of restart. It's May. It's time to go. Number 6, got the Cardinals. Coming off a big sweep of the Tigers, or not the Tigers, the Pirates, and the rest of the divisions, and they're scrapping with each other, and they're trying to keep pace with the other hot team in this division that we'll get to. Overall, I think their bats are awesome. Their pitching seems to be getting it done for them too, and Wainwright's come out of a new age of some sort. He's had a couple of good starts lately. Number 5, I have the White Sox. I think the White Sox are the best in this division. I just do. It's not been proven so far on this start to the season. First month, they're a little bit above 500, but nothing to write home about. But I still think that they are the team to chase. Indians are right there though, super close within nipping. And if they did win the series, maybe. But I don't know. I think this is kind of where the line is, though, because then we start to get into some teams that I'm very serious about. Number 4, I got San Diego Padres. Just a little bit down. Musgrove got beat around a bit last night by the Giants. Giants took one from them, and they're winning their series. They're solid all around on paper and everything like that. I just think I talk about it every week. Got to win that division, and starting to see these other teams that will win their division potentially to have a little bit more of an edge when it comes to going to the World Series. One of those teams, number 3, I got the Houston Astros. The Astros, since getting their team back, have been pretty fire. Offense is going good. Their pitching's been very good. Overall deep. A lot of consistency. They have winners. They're born winners there. Cheater winners, whatever, but they win. You gotta like the way they're set up in this division right now. We got the Angels, who I expected to compete. Not so much. The biggest competition right now is the A's. And I just think the Astros are a level above the A's, so that's why I got them there. Number 2, believe it or not, I got the Milwaukee Brewers. They beat the Dodgers in a series. I'm not going to put them top. You got to do more than that to dethrone the champs. But they beat the Dodgers in a series, and then they got smacked. Dodgers were like, oh, these guys mean business. I'm going to smack them up. But their pitching has been best in the league. Their bats have been good enough to get wins, and they're missing 2 of their key starters. And they're expected to be back this week, Yelich and Kane. So with that being said, I think they're right there, at least for now. Giving them a shout out, I'm paying some credit, because I think at this rate, they're definitely the favorites to win their division. I'm excited to see them play St. Louis. Number 1, Dodgers gonna Dodger. I'm not taking them down. I don't care if they've lost 5 out of the last 7 or whatever. I don't care. I still think they're the best. I still think they're the big favorite to win the World Series, and it's been 1 month. We all know baseball is a marathon, not a sprint, and I feel like they're set up for a nice long marathon. Bauer's proven to be a great signing for them. Dustin May's out, but their starting pitching rotation just great. Their bat's great. They're number 1. And that basically is the power rankings for the end of May. Let me know what you guys think. Rip on me. Do what you gotta do. Make yourself feel it. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe down below, and we'll see you guys for the next video.